Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers tease that Rick Lansing, Rick Hurst, is likely to lose Ava Jerome, Maura West, for good. Ava has already decided to cut Rick out of her blackmail scheme against Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, and she also ready to cut her romantic ties with him as well. Ava isn't happy about all the attention that Rick gives to Liz Weber, Rebecca Herbst. While Liz has repeatedly told Rick they have no romantic future, he still dotes on her. Ava has had enough and has finally given in to Cody Bells, Josh Kelly, by returning his kiss. But Ava may still get the upper hand on Rick. In addition to cutting him out of their blackmail scheme, she might just make sure Liz knows exactly what Rick has been up to. As viewers know, it all started when Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mansi, cut the brakes on Rick's car, believing that the vehicle belonged to Ava. Rick and Elizabeth were almost killed during the accident. Once Rick and Ava learned Ava was behind the crash, they decided to blackmail Christina's mother Alexis, or else they would send Christina to prison. While Elizabeth eventually found out that Christina was responsible for the accident, she has no idea that Rick and Ava are also aware of Christina's involvement and have been extorting Alexis ever since. There's no reason to believe that Ava wouldn't find a way to make sure Elizabeth knows the whole truth. Elizabeth knows very well the things Rick has done in the past, but she has admitted she enjoys their friendship. But if she discovers the blackmail plot, it would likely cause her to rethink even their platonic friendship. But that isn't the only lie that Rick is currently telling. Recently, Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, asked Rick to secretly take Willow Tate's, Kathleen McMullen custody case, with Nina agreeing to foot the bill in secret. But Rick has let both Liz and Willow believe that he is working pro bono, or for free to help her. Of course, this makes him look even better in Liz's eyes. If she should also find out about this lie as well, it's likely she will never have anything to do with Rick ever again. Will Ava be successful cutting Rick out of the blackmail scheme? Will a vengeful Ava make sure Liz knows about the whole extortion plot? Will Rick's many lies cause him to lose Elizabeth once and for all? Port Charles is no stranger to drama, betrayal, and heartbreak. But Rick Lansing may have just burned one bridge too many. The once calculated lawyer, who always walked a fine line between redemption and ruin, has now found himself squarely in the ruins, thanks to a web of deception that has finally unraveled. His longtime connection to Elizabeth Weber has officially come to an end, and this time it may be for good. Fans of General Hospital know that Rick and Liz have always shared a complicated history, a relationship layered with passion, misunderstandings, and second chances. There was a time when their love story captivated audiences, with Rick showing glimmers of redemption that made us hope he could change. Elizabeth, ever the nurturing soul, gave him those chances, believing that deep down he wanted to be better. But in true Port Charles fashion, truth has a way of surfacing, and when it does, the consequences are always explosive. Recent episodes have seen Rick once again dipping into his old bag of tricks. Instead of coming clean about his motives, he spun a narrative designed to manipulate emotions, particularly Iz's. What started as subtle lies and half-truths quickly morphed into a scheme that not only jeopardized his own credibility, but deeply wounded someone he once claimed to love. For Elizabeth, who has weathered her fair share of storms, this betrayal felt like the final straw. So what exactly did Rick do to push Elizabeth over the edge? Sources close to the production suggest that Rick's actions weren't just rooted in jealousy or ambition, but in desperation. With the people of Port Charles less willing to trust him, Rick felt backed into a corner. Rather than reflect or take accountability, he chose to double down. His lies were carefully crafted but ultimately unsustainable. Whether it was shady dealings behind closed doors or manipulative words whispered in vulnerable ears, Rick's games finally caught up with him. Elizabeth, ever intuitive, began noticing the cracks. At first, she gave Rick the benefit of the doubt. After all, she's seen him wrestle with his demons before. But as the evidence piled up and Rick's explanations grew thinner, she could no longer deny the truth. Her confrontation with him was both powerful and heartbreaking. A culmination of years of mistrust, broken promises, and emotional fatigue. In a scene that left fans reeling, Elizabeth finally laid it all bare. No yelling, no theatrics, just a quiet, devastating end to a relationship that had once held so much promise. "I can't keep doing this, Rick," she said. "I stood by you more times than I can count. But this time, I'm walking away." And walk away she did. Rick, blindsided and suddenly alone, was left to reckon with the fallout. The silence that followed Elizabeth's departure was deafening. It wasn't just the loss of a friend or a potential romantic partner. It was the realization that he may have finally crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. In that moment, Rick was forced to confront the truth that maybe, just maybe, he had no one left to blame but himself. The implications of this split are far-reaching. Not only does it affect Rick's standing in Port Charles, but it also sends shockwaves through other relationships. Elizabeth is a central figure in town, beloved by many, and her severing ties with Rick will likely influence how others view him. Will he be further isolated? Or will this moment of reckoning finally force him to change? Fans are divided. Some still hope Rick can find redemption, clinging to the glimpses of vulnerability and remorse that he occasionally lets slip. Others believe that this was his last chance, and he blew it. Elizabeth, on the other hand, is being widely praised for her strength and self-respect. Viewers have watched her grow over the years, from a wounded young woman into a resilient, empowered force. This decision to finally put herself first is being hailed as a defining moment in her journey. But of course, in the world of General Hospital, nothing is ever truly final. Soap opera logic dictates that even the most broken of relationships can find their way back, eventually. The real question is, should they? In the coming weeks, we can expect to see Rick grappling with the consequences of his lies. Will he try to make amends? Will he spiral further into the darkness that's always threatened to consume him? Or will a new story arc present him with the opportunity to begin again, away from Elizabeth and the pain he caused? Meanwhile, Elizabeth's future remains open-ended. With Rick out of her life, what comes next for her? There's always the possibility of new love, perhaps someone who sees her for who she is and doesn't try to manipulate her. Or maybe she'll focus on her career, her children, and her own healing. Either way, fans can rest assured that Elizabeth Webber isn't going anywhere, and her next chapter promises to be just as compelling. This moment, Rick's exposure, Elizabeth's exit, marks a turning point. It reminds us that even in a town like Port Charles, where secrets abound and loyalties shift with the wind, there comes a time when truth must prevail. Elizabeth's decision to walk away wasn't just about Rick. It was about reclaiming her own power, about choosing peace over chaos and clarity over confusion. As Rick stands alone in the aftermath of his deception, he'll have to reckon with more than just the consequences. He'll have to face who he's become. Whether he finds redemption or fades into irrelevance will depend on what he does next. But for now, one thing is clear. Rick's lies have finally cost him something real. And Elizabeth, she's done being the collateral damage. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our YouTube channel for more update news.